Reagan back in the day. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. Donald Trump, I'm going to build a wall. No, Mexico, okay? No, a fabulous wall. Sensational wall. And all of my billions are not going to have to pay for it. No, really, no. Because you know why? Mexico's going to pay for it. Really, Donald.
I had to let that happen. Okay.
In a bold and satirical moment, Johnny Depp expressed his views on Donald Trump, a controversial political figure, with impressive statements. In an emotional performance, Depp not only recalled Trump's famous remarks about the border wall, but also cleverly inserted a comparison with former President Ronald Reagan, who called for the removal of barriers between countries. Through each sharp word, the actor portrayed the contrast between the two periods, at the same time sending a strong political and social message.
Donald Trump, I'm going to build a wall. No, Mexico, okay? No, a fabulous wall. Sensational wall. And all of my billions are not going to have to pay for it.
This satire is not simply Depp's personal opinion, but also represents a segment of the public dissatisfied with Trump's leadership style and shocking statements, especially regarding the border wall. When Depp quoted Donald Trump, I'm going to build a wall. I'm going to build a wall. Mexico. Okay. No. A fabulous wall. Sensational wall. He cleverly exaggerated Trump's promise to highlight the absurdity, thereby reflecting the skepticism of many people about the feasibility and meaning of this policy.
I want the Taj Mahal. I want the Taj Mahal. I want the Taj Mahal. Right.
Johnny Depp opens with this repetitive line, like the silly refrain of a spoiled brat stamping his feet for a treat. And the brat label he puts on Trump is more than just a description, it's a sharp knife, cutting through the billionaire's veneer. There's a pretense. There's something created about him, Depp adds, like a magician revealing the secret behind a bad performance. He's painting Trump as a self-proclaimed emperor, holding an invisible scepter, his eyes glaring at the Taj Mahal, a symbol of luxury Trump probably only knows from magazine photos. He added, everything is mine, even if I don't own it yet, I'll have it, as if Trump not only wanted towers bearing his name, but was also willing to claim ownership of the pyramids of Giza or the Great Wall of China, as long as they were magnificent enough to enhance his ego. This is not the first time Trump has been mocked for his greed. On The Apprentice, he boasted, I have the most beautiful, best buildings, and Depp cleverly exaggerated that into a humorous picture of a childish person, holding a gold pen, writing his name on everything he sees. Depp is not just being sarcastic, he is stripping away the arrogance that lurks behind his signature blonde hair and empty promises, revealing a Trump who is both pitiful and laughable, like a child lost in the world of adults.
Because no.
Depp turns Trump's language into an unintentional comedy with this quote, mimicking the staccato, circular way Trump speaks, as if he's lost in his ambitious head, where his sentences might travel. He adds with a smirk, inviting the audience to guess where this derailed train of words will hit, an invisible wall or Trump's inflated ego. It's like an awkward dance. No is the wobbly step. Really, no is the fall. And no is the disastrous ending that Trump just keeps dancing to. To make it clearer, one can imagine Depp on stage, mimicking Trump's campaign rhetoric, the familiar arm swing, the confident brow furrow, and then overdoing it to make it look farcical. Trump once boasted, I have the best words, in a 2015 interview, and Depp seized on that detail, breathing life into the parody to expose the hollowness behind his so-called eloquence. He's not just mocking the way he speaks, he's exposing Trump's use of words as a smokescreen, masking incoherence with arrogance, spinning speeches into meaningless circles that even he can't understand, leaving the audience wondering, what the hell is he saying?
Reagan back in the day. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. Donald Trump, I'm going to build a wall.
Depp delivered the decisive punch with this historical comparison, placing Trump next to Ronald Reagan in a sarcastic mirror performance, making the audience unable to help but smirk at the stark contrast between the two people. Two eras. Reagan, back in the day. Mr. Garbage HOV, tear down that wall, the line reminiscent of the historic moment on June 12, 1987, when Reagan stood in front of the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin, shouting, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall," a call that became a symbol of peace and unity after the Cold War. Then, Depp immediately switched to Donald Trump. "I'm going to build a wall," like a slap in the face to the flow of history, turning Trump into a person who goes against the times with the ambition to build a monument for himself. Mr. Garbage HOV, either a play on Gorby, Mikhail Gorbachev's nickname, or just a random name thrown in. With a mischievous grin, both softens the Reagan image and makes Trump look even more ridiculous in comparison. Trump's promise to build a wall was a centerpiece of his 2016 campaign, repeated dozens of times at rallies from Iowa to Nevada, with the shocking claim that Mexico will pay for it, an idea that analysts like CNN and the BBC have criticized as unrealistic and unfeasible. Depp seizes on that detail, turning it into a sarcastic jab, as if asking, is it time to tear down walls to get along? Now is it time to build walls to show off? This contrast is like a curved mirror that Depp holds up, magnifying Trump's absurdity into a political comedy. On one side is Reagan's far-sighted vision. On the other side is Trump's narrow-minded delusion, leaving the audience shaking their heads at the wall-building ambition that no one but Trump believes is real.
"How would you like to do a feature film in 4 days?" And I went, "I like that idea." And then he said, "How would you like to play Donald Trump?" And I loved that idea.
It's an enthusiastic confession from an actor willing to take on the impossible, playing Donald Trump in just 4 days. It's not just a bold idea, it's a subtle jab at Trump's bloated ego, as if Depp is saying, 4 days to capture the whole Trump, from the blonde hair to the bombast. The excitement of "I love that idea" suggests that Depp doesn't care whether he can perfectly embody Trump, he just wants to try to turn him into a theatrical character, a game that anyone can play, provided they have the confidence and a sense of humor. In 2025, when Trump has relaunched the wall with 7 miles of new concrete, we can imagine Depp standing in front of the camera, smirking. 4 days to play Trump? Easy. He writes his script every day. He turns Trump into a predictable character, one who reveals himself through every action, from empty promises to actual concrete piles.
"I told them to build me that wall. I want a sensational wall. I want a fabulous wall."
Once again, Depp delivers this line as a direct parody of Trump, but with the smirk of an actor trying too hard to make the audience laugh. "I told them to build me that wall." He plays Trump as a king giving orders to a crowd, but instead of soldiers or engineers, Depp imagines himself shouting at Mexicans on set, turning the promise to build a wall into a ridiculous stage prop. Sensational wall, a fabulous wall. These flowery adjectives not only parody Trump's habit of flamboyance, like beautiful wall in his 2016 Phoenix speech, but also Depp's way of exaggerating to mock the way Trump turns a simple idea into a fantastical masterpiece. By 2025, when Trump starts work on the new wall and boasts, "Nobody can do it better than me," Depp's parody is hilariously prescient. The wall isn't just fabulous on paper, it's being built with American tax dollars. While Mexico watches from the sidelines, applauding, Depp portrays Trump as a self-important director, shouting for great work but forgetting that audiences have long had enough of the show.
I don't remember what the question was, but it doesn't matter because I'm not going to answer it anyway.
Parody of Trump's evasive and halting style in real interviews. It's like he's standing in front of a microphone, pretending to be embarrassed and shrugging, making Trump seem both arrogant and awkward, not needing to answer because the question is less important than his ego. Trump has been known for his roundabout answers, as in his Fox News interview, "I won't go into details, but trust me, I know what I'm doing." By 2025, when asked about the funding for the new wall, Trump simply responded in a press conference, "It'll be taken care of, wonderfully," which is no different from Depp's parody. He turns Trump into an unwilling comedian, oblivious to everything but himself, as if to say, any question is fine, as long as I get to stand here and brag. In the satirical lens, that's the Trump of all time, someone who doesn't need logic, just the spotlight. Donald Trump, with his unchanging blonde hair and proud eyes, entered his second term in 2025 as a veteran director, determined to recreate The Wall, a work that made a splash in 2016 but was criticized by audiences as all talk, little action under Biden. Johnny Depp, if he were still standing on the satirical stage, would surely applaud this dramatic rebirth of an old dream, a wall that is not only a border barrier but also a monument to Trump's immortal ego. But this time, instead of relying solely on the bombastic promises that echoed in the election halls, Trump brought a new scenario, at once more realistic, more ridiculous, and more terrifying, that made the whole world look back, though not always with admiration. From politics to economics to culture to social psychology, The Wall is now more than just concrete and steel but a mirror reflecting the ambitions, contradictions, and travesties of a Trump-era America. On March 17, 2025, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, under the direction of Kristi Noem, a loyal Trump ally, announced the start of construction on 7 miles of new wall in the Rio Grande Valley, Texas, using federal funds left over from 2021 that Biden had canceled. This is more than just a construction project, it is a political statement, a defiant nod to critics who have called the promise of a wall of populist fantasy. Trump, in his speech at Mar-a-Lago in February 2025, confidently declared, "I am back, and so is the wall, they will have to shut up." But the they here does not include Mexico because this country has not bothered to open its wallet. Instead, it is the Americans who are paying the price. With a cost of $1 billion for this short wall, Trump has turned the wall into a weapon of power, not only to strengthen his image as a man of his word but also to crush the opposition from the Democratic Party, who called the project a stupid waste in a Senate report on March 20, 2025. Through the lens of satire, we see Trump as a self-proclaimed general, raising the Great Wall flag on the political battlefield but taking military provisions from the pockets of his soldiers, a strategic farce that only he sees as a victory. The wall is not only a political issue but also a distorted economic problem, where Trump continues to play hide-and-seek with other people's wallets. In 2025, he still sticks to the refrain that Mexico will pay, although Mexico increased its southern border patrol by 10,000 troops under a February 2025 diplomatic agreement. But not a single dollar went to the U.S. construction budget. Instead, Trump turned to the defense budget, turning the New Mexico buffer zone into a temporary military base with hundreds of border guards and state-of-the-art equipment. The cost of this militarization is estimated at $8 billion in the first year of his term, not to mention a series of destroyers like the USS Spruance deployed to patrol the waters near the border. Trump brags about his wealth, once claiming to have billions of dollars on Forbes, but no one has seen him spend a penny. Instead, the U.S. taxpayer has become the unwilling sponsor of this masterpiece. Economists like Janet Yellen have warned on Bloomberg that diverting defense spending to build a wall could weaken the economy in the long run. But Trump doesn't seem to care. He's still standing there, microphone in hand, grinning like a real estate agent who just sold a prime piece of land for nothing. An economic farce where bills are pushed across the border, but no one on the other side picks up. Beyond politics and economics, Trump's wall in 2025 is also a cultural symbol, dividing America more deeply than ever. For its supporters, it is a shield to protect the American dream. As one Texan told Fox News, Trump is keeping his word, keeping America for Americans. But for its opponents, it is a sign of isolation and hostility. As an editorial in The New Yorker described, the wall doesn't just keep out immigrants, it keeps America from the rest of the world. Trump uses this polarization as a tool, turning the wall into his own artwork, not fabulous or sensational as Depp once parroted, but still powerful enough to heat debates on social media like Truth Social, where he boasts, "Nobody does it better than me." Meanwhile, street artists in San Diego have begun painting caricatures on old sections of the wall, depicting Trump wearing a crown and standing in front of the crumbling fence. As a sarcastic response from the community itself, Trump isn't just building a wall, he's building a cultural narrative where he's the hero to one half of America and the villain to the other. A play that audiences can't look away from whether they want to or not. More deeply, the wall in his new term reflects a Trump obsessed with control and an America struggling with fear. Illegal border crossings have dropped 82% since January 2025, thanks to tough measures like militarization and coastal patrols. But Trump has continued to push the project as if the wall is the only cure for his and his supporters' insecurities. Trump taps into middle-class white Americans' fear of losing control, and the wall is the physical symbol of that security. Social psychologist Jonathan Haidt observed in The Atlantic. But the price of that security is alienation. Mexico, under Claudia Sheinbaum, cooperated with border control but refused to fund it. With a chilling statement on March 20, 2025, "We don't pay for other people's fear." Trump, in a February 2025 call, praised Sheinbaum as incredibly tough, but the truth is that he couldn't get her, or anyone, to bow to his dream. From a satirical perspective, Trump is like a bad therapist, prescribing the wall to himself and forcing the country to drink it while Mexico looks on, snickering at his never-ending obsession. It's not that he lacks willpower. Trump has never been shy about showing off his ambitions, but that there are invisible barriers. From legal tangles to unruly terrain, to personal calculations more subtle than the yellow paint he likes to cover everything with. So why is the wall hero hesitating? Let's peel back the curtains to see. Trump may think he's the grand director of border drama, but the U.S. courts are not sitting idly by. Since his first term, the wall plan has been mired in a series of lawsuits from 2019. When California Judge Haywood Gilliam blocked $2.5 billion from the defense budget, to environmental groups like the Center for Biological Diversity suing over the impact on wildlife. In 2025, with a declaration of a national emergency to restart the project, Trump faces a new wave of legal opposition. A coalition of states, including California and New Mexico, filed a lawsuit on February 10, 2025. Arguing that the transfer of funds from the Department of Defense violates Congress's authority. If Depp were watching, he would probably retort, "I don't remember what the question was, probably because the courts won't let me answer." Each new section of wall would require passing dozens of environmental and land use regulations, forcing Trump to delay it to avoid being made into a legal clown by the courts, a role he doesn't want to play. Trump can order people, but he can't stop the wind from blowing or the rivers from flowing. His dream wall, 1,954 miles from California to Texas, faces a terrain that no hammer can break. The Rio Grande, where 7 new miles are being built, is a maze of rivers and swamps, making erecting 30-foot-high steel an engineering nightmare. A March 16, 2025, report from Customs and Border Protection shows that the next 57 miles are still in the environmental planning phase because of the risk of flooding and erosion. In Arizona, rugged mountains like Sky Islands, where Trump wants to extend the wall, are a graveyard for machinery, with research from the Wildlands Network showing that building there would cut off ecological corridors, complicating permitting. Depp might snort, "Sensational wall?" Sensational in that nature is giving him a free geography lesson. Trump's hesitation isn't due to a lack of money or ideas, but because Mother Nature refuses to be a supporting actor in his drama. Behind the rhetoric, Trump may be hesitating because the wall is now more important to him as a mirror for his ego than a practical solution. By 2025, with an 82% reduction in border crossings, thanks to militarization and patrols, Trump could have declared victory without adding hundreds of miles of steel, but he still insists on finishing the wall, as if each new section were a medal to wear on his chest. If Depp were here, he might smirk, "I told them to build me that wall, but I probably just wanted to look at myself in it." Trump is reluctant to speed up the process because he realizes that prolonging this drama keeps him in the spotlight longer, rather than rushing to complete a work that is no longer needed as he once thought. Ultimately, the answer lies not with Trump, nor with Depp, but with us, the audience of this nearly decade-long drama. Will the wall stand as a symbol of leadership, or will it collapse under its own weight, leaving a pile of rubble for posterity to smile back at? Perhaps Depp was right when he shrugged, "I don't remember what the question was." But it doesn't matter, because whether Trump completes the wall or not, this story is still a performance worth watching, both humorous and tragic, and always leaves an aftertaste for those who still want to ponder.